The Labour Force Survey. This report was eagerly awaited because the previous first quarter report was postponed, leading to speculation in the media about the possible reasons for the delay. Well, here to allay the concerns and give some details on yesterday's release is the Statistician General himself, Paddy Lehohla. Good to have you. Welcome to the programme.
Good day.
You know, I mean, we look at something like that, and unfortunately, it is a reality. I mean, the most vulnerable, we're going to talk about this now, but I think it's good to have you here because the most vulnerable sector of the community of people not finding jobs are the youth. You look at that gap, they can't find work and will resort to any means to make money. And, you know, this is the harsh reality of life that we're seeing in that insert.
Yes, indeed. It's a very difficult situation. It's a difficult situation worldwide, I think, in terms of job creation. Particularly, the youth increasingly are not able to find jobs. And in South Africa, it's very grim, particularly because of the skills gap that we have. We have a double whammy in that it's the question of skills that we have that impact largely on not finding jobs. I mean, if 800,000 professionals were available to find jobs, they're likely to have a multiplier effect, and then the unemployment level can actually be reduced. Yeah. Yes, what's needed is a lot more focus on building skills.
Absolutely, it really is. Well, having this in mind, let's talk about the survey and the labour force and how it's looking. Firstly, why the delay? There was so much speculation, but why was the release delayed?
Well, I mean, we delayed the release because there was some work that we were handling. Generally, when you move from the one master sample to the other, it shouldn't cause any problem. But we saw some interesting things coming up, so we had to delay to actually verify that what we were observing was reality or was a figmentation of our minds. But what is encouraging is that, on the whole, the number of people employed, both in the parallel survey, which is a check on what we had done, or what we do ordinarily, those numbers in terms of employment were the same. And then that's when I said, well, we can release the data now. Okay.
All right. So this survey is actually said to be a new master sample.
Yes.
What is
what you do is you revise your work based on new information. And that new information is brought about by censuses. We had a census in 2001, and then you review your work and you plan your samples on the basis of the new information. We had a census in 2011, and 2015, that's when we started implementing the new master sample. That's why we had a bit of a delay in the release of the data.
So now we look at the findings and we talk about the fact that our economic growth, some media institutions saying it's plunged, and we give reasons such as load shedding, we give reasons such as drought in certain instances. We also look at some resignations in the public sector, which of course curbing output. From your words, how's it looking?
Yes, I think one has to look at long-term trends. And in terms of long-term trends, although muted, there is an upward trend, both in numbers of employment, both in labour participation rate, in labour absorption rate. Those are looking a little bit upwards, trending upwards. Quarter on quarter, yes, we have seen, I mean, December, the quarter that ends in December and the one that begins in January, there's always job losses there. But this time around, they were quite deep, 600,000 jobs. But year on year, 400,000 jobs created. So looking at year on year from 2010, the situation is looking rather upward in terms of employment, with all the kinds of labour participation rates, labour absorption rates. All those show that the war is possible to win the war of unemployment, but the rate at which things are going is just too slow. To do so.
I mean, we've got our aims and goals for the National Development Plan to grow by more than 5% by 2030. At these current levels and these rates, does this really look achievable?
No, not at year on year. The growth is 2.1. Of course, we are looking at a quarter on quarter. December, the fourth quarter of the year, first quarter of the year, that has gone 1.3%. That's very low. But year on year is about 2.1. So it means you have to more than double the rate of growth to reach 5%. So what has to be done in relation to the National Development Plan is to have a sectoral approach to see which sector is not performing as it should be in the plan and what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I think the numbers are pointers to those areas that require major attention. And
Yeah. All right. Just finally, this year, growth forecasts. Some economists saying we can reach 2% if load shedding and some of the strikes in the mining sector don't hamper us too much. But I don't know if it's looking too positive.
Well, I mean, we don't forecast. We measure what has gone past.
Yeah.
However, anyway, anything that impacts this growth negatively, such as a strike, days lost, production not sold, all those can impact negatively on such a 2% growth.
Yeah. All right. Statistician General talking to us about their quarterly labour force survey that was released yesterday. Pali Lekgotla, thank you very much for talking to us on the programme.
Thank you very much, dear.
All right. Let's take a break. See you after this.